Whoa, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Underestimated Podcast, aka, to be more specific, another episode of Sand Shark Sundays. It is your host, Jeremy, back with another episode 5. This is, don't mind what's behind me. I, actually just rolled out of bed. I wasn't asleep or anything. I just, came back from having to announce 2 softball games in the last 2.5 innings of baseball game, and so it's been a long weekend. But this is the life that I prayed for, begged for, cried for, the whole nine. So the last thing I'm gonna do is complain about it now. And I love it, absolutely, everything that comes with it. But yeah, I'm just saying that's the reason I came. As soon as I came back here, I jumped straight into bed. And the temperature has seemingly dropped a ton since I've gotten back, because it was not this cold when I first got back. It's definitely dropped. I think I checked it 20 minutes ago and it was 49 degrees, but it feels like 35 according to the weather app. So that feels crazy. But yeah, so it definitely took everything to, get out of the bed. And as y'all can see you can see Kevin Durant back there. I tried to throw something in there to kind of throw off what else is going on, because obviously, as y'all can tell, it's not made up. And so basically I sleep with this other cover that's under, I sleep with a cover under my sheet, that I obviously sleep with. And then, yeah. And so I didn't feel like taking it out. So that's why it looks like that. It's just made up basically with the the sheet up under it, not laying flat. Anyway, hopefully y'all don't, grill me for that. But nonetheless, that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about the USCB Sand Shark women, who unfortunately, a week ago, fell to Columbus State, who is the number 1 team in the Peach Belt Conference of Division II women's basketball, NCAA. And look, man, I've been saying it kind of honestly since the first time that we played Columbus. I was like, look, y'all know me. I'm very optimistic about the teams that I favor, and I'm always bet the house on them. But with me being a basketball enthusiast and expertise, I like to believe my love of the game just cannot allow me to discredit excellence when I see it. And that Columbus State team is for real. I actually, it's little stuff like this that I enjoy, because I don't know. I think getting to know so many athletes and being a coach's son, the personal side of getting to know these athletes always has been something I enjoyed. And one of Columbus State's players, actually number 3, Sonali Moss, is actually Randy Moss's daughter, which I found out when we played Columbus State the first time. And so, yeah, like I said, in this episode, we're going to be taking a dive into what happened on February 11th, which is a little over a week ago, between USCB women's basketball team and Columbus State. A game that, represented a pivotal moment in USCB's 25-26 sort of conference season, and ultimately saw the Sand Sharks' 6-game winning streak come to an end. That's why, actually, I've posted there's always a post that comes out by our athletics department after any of our sports teams play. And it's win or lose, they put it out, win or lose. And so that I appreciate, because while I'm while I am all for celebrating the good, I'm also truthful and real because that's what I know that I have to possess to be successful in this industry. You know, you don't become successful in this industry just by, you know, showing off all the good. And I learned that from Stephen A. Smith. Like Stephen A. Smith has literally almost gotten into an altercation with LeBron James, who is like a top 5 greatest NBA player of all time. And no, I'm not calling him the GOAT, but that is not a debate we will get into on this particular episode. But yeah, so basically what I'm saying is when they posted that graphic of them losing the game, I mean, I was there. I saw it, obviously. I actually called the game. And it was a long day. I actually called both games that day, men's and women's. And it was just a bad day on all accounts. Like, it was tough. But I mean, we got through it, and I described it as when I reposted the post on my story, I described it as just a minor, setback for a major comeback. Because, you talk about 7 games, right, and you win 6 out of the 7. Oh God, don't mind those 2 numbers, but yeah, that's the truth. Like you win 6 out of the 7, and obviously that one that probably stands out doesn't really stand out. I mean, they're the truth. That Columbus State team is really good, and even though they swept us, the girls, they swept us in the season series. I'm telling y'all, I truly believe that we will be playing Columbus State in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament Finals, the championship. Yeah, I believe it absolutely. And it's hard to figure out where we match up, right? Because I think they just have a lot of supporting factors that when they all mesh together create a monster, right? Like I don't think when we look at pound for pound, right, I don't think they have a single player on their roster that can, really go toe to toe with Taniyah or Lydia. I mean, and the list goes on. Like I just don't feel that way. But we just gotta get like everybody just gotta do their part when we play Columbus State. Like we have no room for errors against them because they are guns blazing from tip off to the clock hitting double zeros. And so when you talk about, heading into a midweek contest, USCB had been riding a wave of momentum, and that's the thing about this girls' team. You give them momentum, and that is the worst possible thing you can do to them because once they feel like they have an edge on you, they take off. Like, I don't know if I said it on a broadcast calling one of their games or not, but like, this is a team that unless you beat them or are beating them by 30 or more, they're not backing down. Like, and I wouldn't even say that they're backing down if you beat them or beating them by 30. Because they just have no quit in them. I mean, obviously, there are some things that we need to get better at, but we are fastly approaching the best time in college sports right now, which is March Madness. I'm kind of speaking ahead of myself, but last night was our homecoming and for basketball and our senior day or senior night rather. And it dawned on me that this was the last home game of the season. Like I know for the boys, because I mean I've been with that boys team, that men's team, excuse me. I've been with that men's team since man, what, like October, maybe. Like, I've been there since one of the very first practices of the off season. Sorry, y'all. Oh, excuse me. Man, I can really shut down right now. Um, but I gotta put out something for y'all, and I kind of want to do it in a timely manner. So, and I want to do it right. So, but yeah, and just to see that team grow, and the girls too. I've my relationship with the girls, uh, the women, sorry, have you know evolved over time. Obviously, with both men's and women's, I have my ones that I'm closer to than others, but for the most part, all of them have treated me equally and welcomed me with open arms. And man, I couldn't ask anything more because these are D2 college athletes who, some of them, or honestly, a majority of them, are older than me, so they got necessarily no reason to be obligated to treat me nicely. They can treat me however they want, and what can I say or do? Um, but yeah, like just kind of heading back into like the women's team. After you rattle off 6 straight wins, including key victories over solid conference opponents. Excuse me, like Middle Georgia and overtime. Everyone's kind of talking about their rising confidence and improved chemistry, and that's the thing. They just keep on building, and I keep kind of reiterating this statement because it is so true that Audie Crooks said a couple of weeks ago, probably like a month ago, but she was basically saying that um, you don't want to be a monster in it's either December or January, but you want to be a monster in March. You want to be the best version of yourself or the best version of the team before March, because it's in March, that's when it all matters. And this women's team is shaping up to be the best version of themselves in March. And so you kind of really just get the sense that this young roster is starting to just put it all together. But, I mean, on that Wednesday night in Bluffton, South Carolina, Columbus State did what they've done all season, and they came to play. I mean, from the opening tip to the final buzzer, the Cougars showed why they are one of the most, if not the most. Obviously, I won't call them the most. I believe those sand sharks are the most dangerous, but they're definitely one of the most dangerous teams in the Peach Belt Conference. They raced out to an early lead against us and really took control of the tempo using relentless pressure and efficient scoring to. All right, let's keep this thing rolling. Obviously, as you can see, I'm in a different outfit because it's a different day, and I have to now basically record this in a separated segment because I don't know if y'all could tell. I hope y'all couldn't necessarily tell because that's kind of embarrassing. But in the midst of me recording this initially, I got sick. If you can tell towards like the end of that first 15 minutes, yeah, I started to shake. And if you can like kind of hear my voice start to tremble, it's because I'm literally trying to talk through me shivering, trying to just shake it off. But it got to a point where I just was like, no, something's wrong. And then not much long after, I
Wait, what's the date?
threw up twice. So, but we're good now. I mean, it's what, two days since?
Yeah.
Three days since. So nonetheless, let's keep this thing rolling. Yeah, so I mean, so Columbus State kind of used efficiency to basically build an advantage that our girls kind of would just struggle with to just sort of erase within the game. But I mean, by the end of the first quarter, though, Columbus State held a double digit lead, and that Cougar offense was just operating with precision. But I mean, despite trailing, the Sand Sharks did not go quietly into the night. Like senior forward Lydia Gattozzi once again, led the scoring attack, pouring in 20 points, and she led all USCB scores and showed a whole lot of grit and tenacity just in about every possession. Her performance was obviously a testament to her consistent production throughout the season and a mix of mid-range scoring, aggressive drives to the basket, uh, and an ability to hit open shots when the offense needed sparks. And then, to complement Lydia's offensive night was point guard Taniyah Bowman, who chipped in with an 11 point performance along with a team high 7 assists, kind of being a balanced point guard, kind of figuring out when to get hers and when to get her teammates involved, kind of just orchestrating the Sand Sharks offense and kind of just that offensive attack. And kind of just whenever they tried to mount a comeback, she was the one that was kind of in charge of it, And we talk about the boards. Janiyah contributed a solid night with 9 rebounds and double-digit scoring, which is usually her normal contribution, showing her continued importance and as both a scoring option and a defensive anchor in the paint. What makes a loss this more than just a number is how it unfolds. Coaches, both opposing and on the Sand Sharks sideline, talk about, momentum and execution under pressure throughout the first half. And USCB absolutely showed flashes of life, which we always will. Like I said, that's a team where unless you get up on them about by 30, and I can't even, I would never promise you that they will quit. That's about the best chance you're going to get of them somewhat backing down. And throughout the first half, like I said, they showed life, but they cut into the league, stayed within striking distance, heading into the break, and kind of just seemed ready to flip a switch in the second half, which is that's the kind of team that they are. They usually turn it on in the second half, which is what I'm usually always the expectation of when watching them. But each time we got close, Columbus State answered, and that's what great teams do. They kept giving key buckets, timely defense, clutch execution, but that is what kept Columbus State in control. Another key factor, though, was turnovers. In games like these, ball control is paramount, especially when facing a deep and seasoned opponent like Columbus State. So the Cougars pressured the Sand Sharks into crucial mistakes and forced turnovers that led to easy scoring opportunities on the other end. When combined with strong rebounding and effective shot selection, this made it very difficult for USCB to close the gap late. Despite the final score tallying up to be what would be 92-68, and a road win for the Cougars, there were plenty of positives for sure to take away from this game if you're USCB. A full season of growth lies ahead. And performances like, Lydia's remind fans that this team has explosive scoring capabilities when this offense clicks. Like, we were able to get Lydia to chip in, and Taniyah, and Janiyah, and Maddie, and Court, and Sammy. Like, when all of the we have pretty much all our bells and whistles, like, we really make some noise. And the ability to stick with a top conference opponent for stretches shows mental toughness and also character that, are obviously traits coaches emphasize over and over in post game remarks. But as any coach will tell you, basketball is a game of adjustments and responses and a game of runs, mainly. Now that, that streak that they had has snapped, the Sand Sharks have an opportunity to sort of reflect and recalibrate and kind of come back hunting. We're back on the hunt. And, with the Peach Belt Conference schedule pressing on every game from there, bears weight in determining playoff seeding and confidence down the stretch. When you look at the stat sheet for this game, we see not just the points, but the distribution of minutes, rebounds, assists, steals, and shooting percentages that paint basically the entire story of how this contested matchup sort of unfolded. And coaches and players alike will break down possessions, evaluate what worked, what didn't work, and usage, kind of just have a usage of information to build toward the next battle on the schedule. Because I can almost assure you, like, I would love to say I told y'all so. When in late March we end up seeing USCB and Columbus State in the Peach Belt Women's Basketball Tournament Championship. So I mean, from USCB standpoint, this game stands as both a tough loss and a learning experience. Because I mean, even when you win, there's always room to grow. Like, the outcome of the game does not determine your room for growth. That will always be a possibility. A snapshot, of a program that's competitive, dynamic, and hungry for continued success. Looking forward, if you're a Sand Shark fan, you can rest assured that this team will compete hard and keep pushing in every quarter, every possession, and every game left on this calendar. I mean, obviously it's a tough loss, but, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I don't mind reiterating it if I have already. When you talk about sports, right, it's something I've just had to learn over the years, and even with the knowledge that I do have, I still have so much room to grow and learn. And so, one thing I have learned most importantly is it is extremely hard to beat a team twice, right? But it's even harder to beat them 3 times. And so, did they get them twice? Yeah. But it's like, I think, man, when it's going to matter the most, like I said, I see these teams squaring off for it mattering the most in the championship. I just think when all of that matters, not saying that it won't matter for Columbus State, because it absolutely will, but I just got more faith in those girls because I just, in terms of them just delivering in a big moment because they've had to in so many instances. Now, I'm not talking about, excuse me, a game winning situation. I'm talking about a situation where within games they've had to just turn the switch on and kind of extend to another level. And when you're talking about a game for everything, or basically, I don't want to put it to the magnitude of it being the NCAA championship. Like, no, it's not. But it's what you have, like what you get from that game guarantees you an opportunity to get something that you've always dreamed of, and that is a NCAA championship. Because I believe that we're in a conference that doesn't, maybe there's a world where another team or two will get a shot in the national tournament, but I would, obviously if you win the conference tournament, that solidifies you a spot. Like, you don't have to worry about getting selected. But this isn't the SEC where 4 or 5 teams are gonna make it in there. So honestly, whether you win or not doesn't matter. Like, no, you absolutely need to, because that is the pretty much only guaranteed way you don't have to worry about not getting selected in the tournament. So yeah, I mean it was tough. It was, like I said, it was a tough day all around because they lost first, and then the guys followed behind them, and they also suffered in a loss. So it was a tough day for me on the broadcast, but nonetheless, I love what I do, and I give my all to what I do, and I don't see a world without this, or I mean I have seen a world without this, and I don't like it very much. So honestly, I want to keep it around for as long as I can, and um, you know, but obviously, anybody will tell you that works within this business that what we do is fun and we love what we do, but it is, I don't know if funner is a word, but I'll just be on the safe side with my grammar and say more fun when the team that you were covering or calling a game for or in favor of wins or is winning, because I mean it just adds more fuel to your fire, I guess, if that makes sense. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have. This is going to end up turning into a double upload on Sunday because I didn't obviously hit the threshold last Sunday with me dealing with a sickness the past 2-ish, 3-ish days. But I'm just glad I'm better now because, can't keep me down for too long. And I don't know, just my body responding, because this week has been not this week, this month has been a hectic month. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I was exhausted, I was tired, but wasn't like feeling physically sick until then. So, but I honestly think it was just what I ate that day. I think had to be just that, because I came home and I was just fine, and then it transitioned to that. But I just thank God I'm better now. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. Always remember, don't underestimate, appreciate. Come on.